that and everything. You know I wrote notes. Hi everyone, this is Sophia and welcome to another video. It is currently New Year's Day, so this is literally the first video I'm filming of the new year, but I hope you all had a wonderful start to 2024 and I'm really excited to see what kind of content I'll be sharing with you in the new year, and hopefully you'll stick around if you're interested. If not, no harm, no foul. Anyways, as the title suggests, we are doing a 1-year review of the Louis Vuitton keepall 25. This is obviously the Yayoi Kusama collaboration, but I have had this for practically a full year. I mean, you know, if we're gonna be really specific, I would say 11 months because I got it at the end of January in 2023. But I feel like I have used this often enough where I can share my honest thoughts about this bag, especially if you're interested in buying it. This was one of my favorites in 2023. Obviously, if it's a favorite, it means I liked it and I used it, but there are definitely still pros and cons. So I'm definitely gonna get into that here. The more I look at it, the more I just really like it. Like, I took a break from using it because I was using it consistently in Japan, but after I've been taking it out, like, I really like it. Anyways, okay, that's not what this video is about. This is my first time doing such an in-depth review on like a luxury purchase. So I kind of went all out. Like, I have a pros, a cons, and an FYI list. So we're just gonna kind of go through those. The pros also come with a con, so it's not like it's just full on a pro. It's more of like there's a good thing and a bad thing about the exact same point. So it's just something that I think is important for you to be aware of, especially if you're interested in getting this bag. Okay, let's stop dilly-dallying and let's just get right into the first line. So the first pro is it can fit quite amount of stuff. It's interesting because I know some people consider this a mini bag, but I would consider this a size small because it can fit so much things. The con of that is that it can become a black hole, especially because the actual lining itself is black. Like, as soon as you put it in there, it's just muddled in there. You can try to organize it, but it can just like slide around and everything because the lining is a fabric, so it just is really easy to have things move around. So my FYI is, if you do like to pack quite a bit and pack for contingencies like myself, I recommend getting a colored organizer so that you can see everything in one glance. Right now I have a green, oh, that's my strap. Right now I have a green one in there, so it's really easy for me to see like my red passport holder, my black wallet, my white phone case, my hand sanitizer. It just makes it really easy. And because of the felt, it also means that everything that I put in its place will basically stay there. There won't be any sliding around. The next point is that it is very comfortable to wear crossbody. Obviously this is a strap, I'm not gonna put it on, but it is quite a thick strap. It is by no means those thin, small leather straps. This is a full-on, like, a fabric strap. So it's very comfortable for you to wear almost all day. If you do end up filling this to the brim, it can get heavy, but I feel like that's a problem for every bag, so I don't think that's just an issue for this one. The con for that is that the strap makes it super comfortable, but for the hand loops, you can basically only hold it as a top handle. It is kind of a hassle to get into the crook of your arm. You can do it, obviously, but it is kind of annoying, and because the arm loops are so small, it does require you to fiddle some with it, and because of the way the loops are too, like this flap right here, it does, I think, prevents it sometimes. I do think if the whole handle was just this round shape, it would have been fine, but because of the flap, it does also make it a little bit extra difficult. It's not comfortable to wear on your wrist like this, in my opinion. Can you do it? Yes, like I said, but it's not comfortable and annoying. So the FYI for this is actually about the handle as well. So the best way to explain it is that the handles, they will rub. And they have a rubber coating to kind of close off the seam right here. However, I do feel like, and this hasn't become an issue, but I can foresee it becoming an issue as I keep using it year after year, is that it would just rub together a lot. And so I usually always, anytime I leave the house with it, I will always put a silk twilly. I use twillies from Hermes. I will put a silk twilly on at least one of the handles. Eventually, I think I want to get a set and just like keep it on there all the time. I usually just keep it on the front one just because I think it looks nicer, and that's where most of my hand is like touching. I do also want to throw in that the handle leather, I don't think you'll be able to pick it up. Maybe you can. It is starting to wrinkle just a tiny bit. So I do think that's part of how the leather is going to wear over time. Maybe I should try a leather conditioner. I don't want to ruin it, so maybe I won't. But I do think having a twilly does help it like kind of keep the moisture on the leather a little bit. I don't know, maybe I'm making that up, but that's why I put the twilly on there as well. Now, this entire point is about the strap. So like I said, the strap does make it very comfortable to wear the bag for a long period of time, especially if you have a lot of things. The pro of that is that if you do have a lot of things, it actually, because of the width of the strap, kind of distributes the weight really nicely. So the weight of the bag doesn't set in until you probably worn the bag for an entire day, maybe like 16 hours. And even then, it does not feel as bad as like other bags that I do own. However, the con of that is that the straps, okay, this is not a good example. The straps do jingle. And I think it's mostly just this hardware. So it is kind of annoying. It's not super noticeable to the point where it kind of affects your use of the bag. I do notice that even when it's taut against my body, crossbody, I can still hear it. And especially when it's just, you know, hooked onto the D-ring, that is something to take note. This is by no means a silent handbag. And then the other thing that I actually think I made this observation in my unboxing video, and that is that the strap itself almost feels heavier than the bag. The reason why that's an FYI and not a con is because I understand that given the width of it, the material, it makes sense why this would be heavier. There's quite a bit of hardware on it as well. The bag itself is actually pretty light. So if you just want to carry something light, you can just carry it like this. But if you do end up having the strap hooked on and you're just holding like this, it can feel heavier on your arm. Let's talk about the zipper. Let's take this out. So the zipper is extremely big and extremely sturdy. It has a really nice sound. So let me close it to show you. Hang on, I need to find a good anchor. That sounds nice to me. I just like how chunky it is. I don't know, that's just like a personal preference. The con is that because it's quite a chunky zip, you kind of need an anchor to open it. So you could see me struggling earlier when I was trying to close it. Even when I try to open it, it's like, because it's so thick and sturdy, you need to hold the bag in some way to be able to open it. So like if I just like this, right? Like I can do it, but it requires some fiddling. So at the beginning when I was using this bag, for the longest time, I would pull on this or like this side to like open it, and then it hasn't happened yet, but then I started getting conscious because I didn't want to like pull up the thread. So then I stopped doing that and I started like holding the corner here and then pulling it open. So that is definitely something to take note. And then this is the FYI, but I would also consider this a con actually, and maybe you could see it already when I was doing my close-up. But if you are using this bag a lot and you're constantly pulling your zipper in and out, especially for this one, I can't speak for the other ones, especially the ones with just like regular silver zipper. I have noticed that some of the black coating on the zip has been pulled off. So this zipper used to be all black, and now you can see bits of silver, which frankly does not really bother me. Because I have no plans on ever getting rid of this bag. But if you are one of those people who like to have bags on rotation and you are more than happy to sell things, that could be an issue for you. The other thing is same for, I think the D-rings would present the same issue. To prevent that, I usually minimize taking the strap off. Most of the time, I usually just end up storing it with the strap on, so I'm not kind of rubbing against the D-ring and the claw clips too much. I think just this time, because I was taking a break from using it, because I was using it so much that I just took it off to store it easier. Okay, so the next topic I want to cover on this bag is about the shape slash the canvas. I think because this is a men's style handbag, when I've gone into Louis Vuitton stores and touched women products, I have noticed that their canvas is usually on the thinner side, but this canvas is actually pretty thick in my opinion. So for the most part, like even just standing like this, even if I did not have an organizer inside, it held its shape fine. Like sitting up, it still kept its shape because the canvas is quite thick. However, the con of that is if this bag is filled to the brim, it's not an issue, right? It's the moment you wear it crossbody and there's only a few things inside that it can lose its shape after a while and kind of push itself in, if that makes sense. So obviously it's going to mold to your body kind of. And then the catch is that I can't tell if it's obvious, but this to me is the front. If you see on the side here, it is still relatively curved, but if you look on this side, maybe it doesn't, I don't know if you can tell that, but if you look on this side, this is actually a bit more flat and less curved around here than this side. So because sometimes I've worn this bag with it not filled to the brim, this part has started to kind of straighten out a little. It's lost some of its shape and it's more obvious, I think, around this part because obviously there's like a construction here to keep it curved, but you can see it kind of denting a little bit like this, like into it. Again, it's not an issue for me because I'm planning on using this bag for the rest of my life, but that is definitely something to keep in mind. So the FYI about the construction and the zip, if you don't even have it zipped all the way, it kind of forces, let me show you. It kind of forces the bag to go like this, right? So if it's not zipped, it goes like this against your body. It's still pretty secure. It's actually pretty hard for people to get in. So it's actually like not that bad, but obviously if you are going to be wearing like this, you're just pushing the canvas in more. So it's going to cause more of the straightening issue. I think that's just something to keep in mind if you don't like to zip up your bags a lot or you're trying to prevent the zip from losing its color. This is obviously based off of the large keepall that is meant to be a travel bag, a travel duffel, if you will. I think this is literally the perfect travel bag. In my entire collection, this is the bag that I know I'll always be bringing with me to trips because it holds so much. It's so comfortable to wear and I can really just not care about like damaging it because it's mostly canvas. However, because this is also meant to be a men's bag, it can look a little long, like, or wide maybe on the female body. I personally find that I think this bag looks better when I'm holding it in pictures versus when I'm wearing it crossbody because otherwise it can stick out a little bit and it looks kind of off proportion wise, but still, I still think this is for a woman. Like this is actually still a great bag. This in comparison, I think the female version is the Speedy like 20 or whatever. This is way better. I think the Speedy is like shorter and maybe that will eliminate the issue I have with, you know, the proportion, but it fits more. So in my opinion, I'd rather have a bag that fits more. Because this is a travel bag, where is it? Oh no, where'd it go? Oh, did I lose it? I might have lost it. I don't know where it went, but it did come with a luggage tag. Seriously, where did it go? I will never use it because it is the same size as a regular luggage tag, so it actually looks kind of off on this smaller bag. There's no reason for me to need a luggage tag other than for pure aesthetic, but I would rather keep Totoro on here, so that's just my personal preference. I know in my initial unboxing video that the reason why I chose this bag over the Celine Boston was because of how the Celine Boston used to have the strap clip on to these rings versus like having a side ring. Now I know they've changed it, so that point is now moot. What I really loved about this when I first had it in my possession was I really liked how it kind of falls really nicely on the side of the bag. I've seen a few people talk about how like they got the bag and it was like lopsided a little bit. That has never been an issue for me. I still think it looks like it's in the perfect place, and to be honest, I don't care. However, because it does just lean back like this, if you're wearing a crossbody, it can dig into you. And I think part of the reason why it digs isn't even just because of the handle, but it's because the handle itself has this leather trimming right at the back. So you can see it right here. So this is pretty stiff and it's pretty thin yet kind of thick. So it can really dig into your hip or wherever you're wearing it. So it does make it kind of annoying. The thing I've started to do is I'll just push this handle up and then just wear it like this. And maybe that's causing more of a flattening, but I would rather do it this way than have the handle even push it even in further. So my final thoughts, I have been using this bag for almost a year. I have not babied it, even though there are leather trimmings on the back and on the side. The leather is in pristine condition, except for like where the handle curves right here, like I was saying. You know, besides the zipper, this bag is still in perfect condition. And to be entirely honest, even having used this for over the year, I would love to add another one into my collection. I think I would never add like a plain one. No. I think having had the Yayoi Kusama collection one, if they ever came out with a collection where the print is really cool or calls my name, I will 100% add it back into my collection. And I am also not one of the people who like to buy multiples. So that to me really tells me something about how much I enjoy using this bag. But yeah, I really like it. I honestly recommend it if you are interested in the Speedy 20. To be honest, I think the Keepall 25 is much better value for the money. I have zero well, okay, I have some qualms, but for the most part, this bag is amazing, and even my fiance really likes it. I think it's also grown on him a lot. But yeah, I hope this video was helpful for you. If you enjoyed it, or if you have any other questions about this bag in particular, feel free to let me know in the comments. But otherwise, hopefully I'll see you next time for another one. Bye.